It's another No Good Music holiday show. Hey! This time around, Rob and Jeremy will be talking about some characters you know, based on the Charles Dickens Christmas classic. These cast of characters are just fantastic. Kermit the Frog and Miss Piggy, Gonzo and Fozzie, and Rizzo the Rat. It's the Muppet Christmas Carol No Good Music Review. So sit back and grab a beer, or maybe an eggnog with your favorite reindeer. Sit back and grab a beer, or maybe an eggnog with your favorite reindeer.
Every idiot who goes about with Merry Christmas on his lips would be cooked with his own turkey and buried with a stake of holly through his heart.
No. Mr. Dickens, Charlie, are you hurt?
People preparing feasts, giving parties, spending mortgage money on frivolities.
Hoity-toity, Mr. Godlike Smarty Pants. I fell down the chimney and landed on a flaming hot goose.
You have all the fun.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Hey, hey, hey. Ho, ho, ho. We're back with our last holiday show for this month.
It's our last show for the year, isn't it?
Yeah, not till next year. And as you might have, maybe you could tell by the theme, we are going to be talking about the Muppets Christmas Carol. And before we get into that, we have a new beer. Maybe not. I don't know if I've tried this before, but it's this is the same brewery that we sampled last podcast. It's out of Hershey. I think it's this is a different brewery. Sorry.
Yeah,
but we've had different. This.
We've had Trogs before.
Yeah, Trogs, Blizzard of Hops. And we're going to crack one open here. We have no glasses.
We both have a can, so double can open.
So cheers, everybody. Merry Christmas.
Happy Hanukkah. Happy New Year. Happy Kwanzaa. I don't know what else is out there.
Yeah.
There's no cup holder over here.
Oh. You can just move that over. There
I'm gonna destroy the studio.
Yeah. Don't spill it.
If we lose the feed midway through, a beer fell over on a few cords. It's a fire.
So hopefully you liked our holiday podcast. I think we did good on that one. That was 1 hour and 40 minutes.
Was that it?
And
I was falling asleep like halfway through.
No, no, that was the one before that. So we watched the movie tonight, and it's been a while since I saw it.
Yeah.
And Jeremy. But, and I don't know if I've seen A Christmas Carol in any form in a while. It's a Charles Dickens classic story. But this is the Muppets. And actually, first, before we get into it, I found a list of Christmas Carol movies.
Okay.
I'll go through it real quick. And these are, I don't know, this person rated them 1 to 13. First one is Tim Curry, 1997.
Okay.
There's one from 2001, Simon Callow. Okay. What was that?
I don't know.
Okay. And let's see. Number 11 is with Henry Winkler, which I didn't know. I don't know, maybe some of these aren't available. An American Christmas Carol.
Okay.
From 1979, right when he was in the midst of Happy Days.
Hey.
Patrick Stewart, 1999. Then we have Scrooge with Albert Finney. 1970, Scrooge. 1951, Alistair Sim. We have Scrooged with Bill Murray.
Yeah.
The Man Who Invented Christmas, Christopher Plummer, 2017. Christmas Carol with Jim Carrey, which is the CGI one, which I don't think I've seen that one. A Diva's Christmas Carol.
Okay.
With Vanessa Williams, 2000.
Gotta add that to the watch list.
Yeah. 1984, Christmas Carol, George C. Scott. Number 2, A Christmas Carol, 1938, starring Reginald Owen. And this guy has number 1, The Muppet Christmas Carol.
Wow.
From 1992. And of course, Michael Caine as Scrooge. And the reason we're doing this also is because it is a musical.
Yeah.
And
I will say, I know we're going to get into the movie, review it a little bit, but Christmas Carol is not one of my favorite Christmas movies. There's 20 other movies I'd watch before I put that on.
Yeah.
But at least the Muppets version makes it fun.
Yeah, a little bit of fun.
Because it's a very dry movie, at least to me. It's, kind of slow, kind of dull, it's telling a good story.
Yeah, it always seemed a little stuffy.
But to get there, it's just a trog to me anyway.
Well, if you've ever read Charles Dickens, Great Expectations I've read, and I think I've read A Christmas Carol, probably was a long time ago. I don't think I read any other Charles Dickens, but it was that time period, and it was before, definitely before movies and TV, and
right.
Even, I'm sure they had people that made people laugh back then, but
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah,
you got Edgar Allan Poe, and they were always writing about tragedy and sorrow. Yeah, that's the second
time I was able to do that.
We need that sound effect.
Yes, we do.
I'm going to have that next time.
Good.
So this is 1992, and it's directed by Brian Henson, which is Jim Henson's son. It's his feature directorial debut, and of course the movie was adapted from the 1843 novella Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. And it says, although artistic license is taken to suit the aesthetic of the Muppets, the film otherwise follows Dickens' original story closely. And it's the 4th theatrical film featuring the Muppets. Screenplay was written by Jerry Joel. And like we said, Michael Caine as Ebenezer Scrooge. We have Muppet performers Dave Goelz, Steve Whitmer, Jerry Nelson, and Frank Oz. Frank Oz, probably the most famous, is Miss Piggy.
Right.
And this is the first film to be produced, first Muppet film to be produced following the deaths of creator Jim Henson and also performer Richard Hunt. And the film is dedicated to both. Now, Richard Hunt was a puppeteer who worked on the Muppet Show, Sesame Street, and some of the Muppet movies. Now, the film was released on December 11th, 1992. So a couple days, 2 days ago, this is, 32 years.
Yeah.
32 year anniversary. And it was released by Buena Vista Pictures under its Walt Disney Picture label. I didn't know it was a Walt Disney film. And it's 86. It's a nice 86 minutes.
It didn't feel terribly long as we were watching it.
So let's go down the cast of characters. Gonzo is the narrator. He plays Charles Dickens. Waldorf is Robert Marley, and Statler is Jacob Marley. If you didn't know their names, those are the two old guys that were on the Muppet Show.
Yep.
Fozzie Bear is Fozziwig, and Fozziwig Party Entertainers. We got a lot of people from Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem. We actually saw Dr. Teeth in there. I saw him.
Yeah.
We have Zoot, Lips, Animal, Floyd Pepper. He's the bass player. Also, we have the Swedish Chef, Sam Eagle. He is a schoolmaster. Rizzo the Rat, who is the co-narrator of Gonzo. Kermit is Bob Cratchit. Miss Piggy is his wife, Emily. Robin the Frog, which I just found out recently, in real Muppet life, is Kermit's nephew, not his son. He plays Tiny Tim Cratchit. We got Beaker is in it. And someone I just found out his name, Lou Zealand. And it says he plays himself. He is a tan humanoid Muppet with dark hair, mustache, and a red knobby nose, and a ruff and a red ringmaster suit. I think the ruff is his collar. So before we get into that, I actually want to ask Jeremy. Like, I don't know. See, I grew up watching the Muppet Show and Sesame Street, of course. But there's a Muppet that's he's not an original Muppet. You know, he's not like was on Sesame Street.
Okay.
But my favorite Muppet is Peppy the Prawn.
Okay.
The King Prawn.
Okay.
Do you have a favorite?
I do. So I also grew up watching the Muppets, but I watched the Muppet Babies, which was kind of a version.
Oh, I never watched it.
It was a cartoon like spin-off of the Muppets, so that's how I was first introduced. But I always loved Fozzie Bear. He was always my favorite, and I wish he was in this movie more than a couple of minutes. But
I also like Ralph the dog, and we saw him in there. He was playing the piano, of course. So following Jim Henson's death in 1990, it was May 1990, the talent agent Bill Haber approached Henson's son Brian with the idea of filming an adaptation. And Haber told Henson that the Christmas Carol is the greatest story of all time, and you should do that. And later informed Henson that he had sold the idea to ABC as a television film. So longtime Muppets writer Jerry Jewell was hired to write the script and decided to insert Charles Dickens as a stand-in narrator in order to remain faithful to the original prose of the written material. And Henson stated that Gonzo was chosen because he was the least likely choice. He was the least likely choice to play Charles Dickens. Well, Rizzo the Rat was added to inject some humor, and
Rizzo the Rat really makes the movie. To me, anyway.
Oh, yeah.
I think he was the best part of the movie.
Yeah, so the best thing about the movie is Rizzo the Rat is definitely the humor in the movie. And Gonzo's a serious, like if they were a comedy team, Gonzo would be like the straight man.
Right.
Into Rizzo. But Rizzo's always in the movie, he's falling, he's getting into
mischief.
Yeah. And then established Muppet characters were initially written to portray the ghost, with various accounts stating Robin the Frog or Scooter was to be the ghost of Christmas past, Miss Piggy to be the ghost of Christmas present, and Gonzo, before it was written to portray Dickens or Animal, as the ghost of Christmas yet to come. But Animal, we know, doesn't talk, so...
Right.
However, the idea was scrapped in favor of new Muppet characters that would better underline the ominous nature. So, I always thought that A Christmas Carol was a dark Christmas story. I mean, it's dark, but it's also has meaning to it, and it has a good message. in that, you can change.
Yep.
And, obviously Scrooge is not a very nice person. We also find out in this movie that his Marley, right? His what is it? His partner, former partner.
Mm-hmm.
They were also evil people, because they mentioned in the movie where they shut down an orphanage, or they kicked out kids in an orphanage. But this reminds me, we talked about it. I think we mentioned it recently, where they used to tell ghost stories. It might have been a song we were talking about, where in Victorian times they used to also, or maybe it was our Halloween podcast, I don't know. But we're talking about where they used to tell ghost stories during Christmas.
Okay, yeah. I vaguely remember that.
So I'm thinking this was back then. This was part. Charles Dickens got the idea, because it is a ghost. It's kind of a ghost story,
right? But it's a story that I think is so relatable to people, not from the aspect of people being, such a nasty hard ass in a sense, but the self-realization of sometimes you just might not realize, what decisions you're making throughout life that
are affecting other people,
affect you. I mean, something that stands out not only in this movie, but any version of the film, is when he goes back in time, and as a kid, he's kind of a loner, but when he does have a girlfriend or partner or whatever they are, it doesn't work out because he's just so focused and entrenched in work or making money or whatever the case may be. And you could see the hurt in his eyes looking back on that and realizing what he lost.
Yeah.
Because at that moment he wasn't in that frame of mind.
Yeah. Well, we can talk a little bit about the music, and that there is a scene in the movie that was cut, and it was mainly cut because of, I think it was, let me find it here.
It was the duet with them, right?
Yeah, it was a scene with when he's Christmas past, and his girlfriend is it's called, I think, let me find it here. When Love Is Gone.
Yep.
And I think the song worked well, because I think the song was memorable in the whole movie. And should we take the Muppets seriously? And in this is the thing. Michael Caine said when he took on this role, he was going to play Scrooge as if he was doing a Shakespeare play, and he was going to forget that these were puppets,
right? That
he was acting with puppets. So Michael Caine brought a lot to this movie. I was like, I've seen this movie before, but I think I've seen it probably when I was a lot younger, maybe when it first came out. I don't know.
Right.
And I know it's on TV sometimes, but I was surprised. Michael Caine is so good in this movie, and I don't know why it's weird that he wasn't Scrooge in any other movies. Like, you think I think he fit that role pretty good.
Right.
He wasn't over the top. He was believable. So When Love Is Gone, the song, is sung by the character Belle, portrayed by Meredith Braun. She laments that Scrooge's love of money has replaced his love of her.
Right.
Now, this song was cut from the original 1992 American theatrical edition of the film by Jeffrey Katzenberg. He was the then chairman of Walt Disney Studios. He believed that the song would not appeal to younger viewers. And I don't know, there's some scary stuff in this movie, even though it's a Muppet movie.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the Muppets are scary. I mean, the ghost of
Christmas Future.
Is it Christmas Future?
Yeah, the last one, like the Grim Reaper-ish one. Is that what you're
Well, not even
to?
that one. The first one, which was a girl.
Oh, the creepy girl. Yeah.
Yeah, and she was kind of faded out, and I didn't think she looked like Ariana Grande, but I think she sounded like her. So that was kind of creepy. And then the Grim Reaper, he has no legs. He's kind of floating, and he's huge.
No face. Like,
yeah,
it was weird.
and that was a cool that was a cool effect, or a cool Muppet, you know.
Yeah, because even the hands were very bony, skeleton-y.
Yeah,
when he points him to his grave, you can get a great view of those hands, and it's like, wow.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's CGI or what kind of makeup that was, but 1992, it looked good.
Yeah. So back to the song that was cut was instead they played the song during the film's end credits originally, and Brian Henson objected to this decision, as the concluding song, "The Love We Found," was a direct counterpoint to it. So I guess that was the song they were supposed to play at the end if they had included that scene. And Henson commented, "When Love Is Gone was not in the theatrical release, is presently missing from some copies of the movie, which is a real shame. The song title, When Love Is Gone, is only included on some home media releases of the Muppet Christmas Carol, which are now out of print." I don't know when this was. My phone's like, I don't know what's going on. My phone's silent.
Mr. Popular.
Yeah. What? No, it's, these, okay, I just have to say, these broadcast channels that Instagram has.
Oh, okay.
So I usually don't sign up for them, because Saturday Night Live, though, they post people sitting outside for tickets.
Oh, okay.
It's
like 10 degrees outside right now, just FYI.
Yeah, and it's Friday. That's on my bucket list, but I'm not sitting outside that long.
Right.
Okay, so now the version of the DVD that I have is the anniversary version, and it says it's anniversary because it's the anniversary of the Muppet. It's like the 50th, whatever that year was. I don't know when it came out, because I got the DVD. It was used, of course.
Right.
But it's weird because they included it on the widescreen, or the full screen, but not the widescreen. Why couldn't they include it on both?
Yeah, it's weird.
So we did get to see that scene. I don't know. I thought it was. It's hard to tell, because I now I haven't seen it without that scene.
Right.
And we should have went to that scene in the other one, see how they cut it, how they put it together without that song. But
yeah. Well, I think that was, looking back now, I think it's the longest song of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's something that I really enjoyed about this film. Sometimes musicals, the songs can kind of get long and kind of tedious and repetitive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Every song in this film felt like a really good length. It didn't feel too long, didn't feel too over the top, and it didn't take away from the movie itself. It didn't take you out of the moment.
Well, it's considered a musical, and I liked it because I don't think there were that many songs in the film.
Agreed.
I started watching last week Les Mis, which I've seen before, and I noticed that I think the whole movie is music. I don't think there's much dialogue in Les Mis.
Right.
But I think that was adapted from a musical. So this, they kind of, not all Christmas carols are musicals. I don't even know if any of the other ones are. Where they're singing.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't know that for it to be fact, though.
Yeah. So let's see here. So it looks like it says the 2002 and 2005 DVD releases of the movie retain the song in the 90-minute full screen version of the film. So I think that might be around the time that the one we watched was.
Right.
And then in a 2018 interview with The Big Issue, I don't know what that is, Henson said he believed that the song was unlikely to appear in any further releases of the film. I don't know why it's so controversial.
Yeah.
Leave it in or don't leave it, they obviously don't like this song, or someone doesn't.
Makes you wonder if there's an issue with royalties or something. I'm not trying to imply that, but it just seems so odd that there's an issue with this song.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And then it says here, we won't go on too much longer about the song, but however, on December 9th, 2020, Henson confirmed to BBC Radio 2 that the original film negative featuring the entire footage of the song had been found. I don't know. And that, but due to time constraints, Disney Plus was unable to include the new full version on its 2020 streaming release of the film. Time constraints on a streaming? I don't know what's going on here. So let's see, where were we? So most people, I think, know the plot of A Christmas Carol, but if you don't, it revolves around Ebenezer Scrooge. Bob Cratchit is an employee of his, which is played by Kermit Frog, and it revolves around Christmas or up to Christmas. I think it's Christmas Eve where he's visited by 3 ghosts.
Mm-hmm.
And now I like the premise of the story, but for me personally, It's a Wonderful Life, which is a takeoff of A Christmas Carol, where Jimmy Stewart, George Bailey is visited by one ghost. But he shows him what could be, or if he didn't do this, or because George Bailey's about to take his own life at that point. But that's the version I like.
Yeah, I would say, if I don't even want to call it a criticism, but when speaking specifically about this film, I don't know that this is the best version to go to if you're looking to get that story.
Yeah.
The original Charles Dickens story. And what I mean by that, I think they take some shortcuts here. I don't think they go into Bob Cratchit's, backstory as in depth in the Muppets version. I don't think they go into some of, Ebenezer Scrooge's issues in depth, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But I think, to your point, there's some other versions out there that might give you that full story. And again, as we said in the beginning, just prepared to kind of trudge through that because it is slow. It is dry.
Yeah, I'd watch this one because it, you got
funny.
The Muppets.
Yeah. No, this one is a great version. If you're looking, probably my favorite too.
Yeah. And now during filming, in order to allow for the Muppets and the human actors to be in the shot, this is a little behind the scenes, floors had to be removed and reinserted. We've seen this with Stop Start. Well, I'm thinking about where people have to actually move the figures. They have panels that move, but so there are other human actors in this movie besides Michael Caine. There's we see who's the other guy with Michael Caine? Is it his brother? His brother, yeah.
No, his nephew.
Is it his nephew?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and his wife. And I read, someone pointed out that by the end of the movie, you don't see his nephew's wife.
Yeah, it's just the nephew sitting at the table. You're right.
Yeah. But they left in some dark stuff in this movie with Tiny Tim.
Mm-hmm.
They're saying that he's going to die, like he might die, and
yep.
And then they kind of joke. towards the very end, either Riz or the Rat or
it was Gonzo.
Gonzo says that he didn't die, you know.
And Tiny Tim, he did not die or something. I forget how he said it, but.
Now, there is a documentary on YouTube behind the scenes interviewing the actors and the Muppets. And then, so the music, let's talk about the music. And this isn't going to be a long podcast. You know, we just wanted to do this to add, you know, have another holiday.
Something different.
Theme.
Have fun.
And you still have time to watch this movie.
Yeah. For sure. Before A Christmas Story comes on.
And you can watch it as long as you're, you know, little kids aren't scared of some of the Muppets. But I don't think they will.
I do have a question. How do Kermit the Frog and Miss Piggy have kids that look like frogs and kids that look like pigs? Shouldn't they be somehow combined?
They should. I don't know. That's a good question.
And there was a lot of them. They had a lot of kids.
And Kermit sounded pretty good because this other guy, I actually have his name, I think here, started to voice. Well, of course, Jim Henson's son voiced Kermit in this movie. But there was another guy that took over after that. I had it here. Anyway. So let's see here. So the music, the original score was composed by Miles Goodman, and songs written by Paul Williams. Now, Paul Williams previously worked with the Muppets on the soundtrack to the Muppet movie, 1979, in which he and Kenneth Asher were nominated for an Academy Award for writing Rainbow Connection. You know who Paul Williams is? I probably asked you.
Yes, I do.
He's still alive. He wrote Old Fashioned Love Song for Three Dog Night.
Yeah.
We've Only Just Begun. Rainy Days and Mondays. He wrote for the Carpenters.
We've only just begun.
And if you know Smokey and the Bandit, there's a tall guy and a short guy. And the short guy, his character is little Enos Burdett in Smokey and the Bandit. I think they're in all three. You know what I'm talking about?
I do, yes.
Well, Paul Williams is the short guy. So he's also an actor.
I'm pretty sure he had something to do with one of the Batman animated series, too. I could be wrong on that, but
I don't know. Yeah. And then Miles Goodman previously scored several films that were directed by Muppet performer Frank Oz. One of Jeremy's favorites, and also mine, Little Shop of Horrors.
I love that movie.
1986.
I like the 86 version better than the original.
So the guy who composed the music, Miles Goodman, he also worked on Little Shop of Horrors.
Okay.
He was nominated for a Golden Globe, Best Original Score, but lost out to the Mission I have here, which no one remembers. And I think that was for Little Shop of Horrors.
Okay.
He was nominated. The soundtrack was released November 10th, 1992.
He did. Paul Williams was the Penguin in one of the Batman animated series.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
That
was driving me nuts.
Now, the Muppet Christmas Carol original motion picture soundtrack contains all of the songs from the film. However, most of them are different arrangements than they are featured in the film. The performances are by the Muppet characters as well as Michael Caine. The album also includes the songs Room in Your Heart, Chairman of the Board, which were recorded but never filmed. So they actually had more songs like I said, I think it's a good combination of music and dialogue and comedy.
Yeah. I agree.
As with all preceding Muppet films, the Muppet Christmas Carol was shot as a musical. The soundtrack album peaked at number 189. So didn't do too well on the Billboard 200. And you know what? There's none of the songs in this are memorable.
They're not catchy. was the problem.
Yeah. Except When Love Is Gone, I think because now I remember because it's the cut scene. So, right?
Yeah, that's funny though. You touched on the fact that this was released by Disney.
Mm-hmm.
And Disney is so notorious for having those catchy tunes in their movies. It's very surprising that these really weren't. They weren't memorable. They weren't.
Yeah.
I don't want to say they weren't enjoyable, but they weren't like. I could think of, even off the top of my head, like Aladdin, Lion King, Toy Story. Like they had those songs that you could sing word for word without even realizing it. They were just fun.
Yeah.
They didn't have that in this film for some reason.
And Michael Caine does some singing, but he's, like with a lot of musicals are just, because it's their character. Like normal people, if life was a musical, a lot of people won't be able, they couldn't carry a tune, but
right.
Like films like Evita, like Jonathan Pryce couldn't sing, Antonio Banderas couldn't sing, and Madonna could. But so we have 18 songs.
Wow, really, that many?
Yeah, on the soundtrack.
Okay.
Some are only a minute.
Okay.
Let's see. Well, we have the deleted songs too. Room in Your Heart was 1:50. Dr. Bunsen Honeydew and Beaker are singing this song.
Okay.
Let's see.
The Swedish Chef had a, 50-second song in there.
And I noticed Kermit singing One More Sleep Till Christmas, and, Jimmy Fallon stole that. I never heard about sleeps. Jimmy Fallon, he had a book, 5 More Sleeps Till Christmas. Yeah. He stole that from Kermit. His was
the
one more.
Frog.
Hi-ho. Let's see. Yeah, then Chairman of the Board's on here. Sam Eagle is singing that. The Eagle. And then we have, the last song is When Love Is Gone. I think it's on here twice. No. Oh, yeah, it is.
They sing it at the dinner table randomly for like 20 seconds.
So Meredith Braun was the original singer and the actress in the movie. So she's on here, track 10. But then the last track is When Love Is Gone, is the pop version by Martina McBride. Did When Love Is Gone. So she popped it up.
All right.
Yeah. So then let's see here. What else do we have? We went through the Christmas Carol movies. It says Walt Disney Pictures appeared to have high expectations for the film, being their widest released film of the holiday season, second widest released under the Disney banner that year.
Wow.
However, the film opened in 6th place, initially reported to have collected $5.9 million.
92. Do you know what was number 1?
No.
Oh, man. I would guess Aladdin, but I don't know that to be a fact.
I might have it here. Yeah, I don't know. So ultimately, the Muppet Christmas Carol grossed total of $27.3 million in North America.
Okay.
I think that might be to date. Originally, it only grossed, they adjusted it, it was $5 million. The film cost $12 million to make.
I don't have any, no facts in front of me, but Aladdin did come out in 92.
Oh, here it is. I do have it. I do have it here. It said, despite being a modest box office success, The Muppet Christmas Carol did not have a large effect during its theatrical release, having to face competition from Home Alone 2, Lost in New York City, and New York, which I want to watch 1 and 2.
Those are amazing movies.
And Disney's on Aladdin.
There you go. Look at that.
Yeah.
I'm 2 for 2 on taking guesses out of the dark.
Yeah. The film on Rotten Tomatoes has an approval rating of 77%, based on 56 reviews. Average rating is 7 out of 10. I'd give it 7 out of 10. I mean, it's enjoyable.
Yeah.
Like you said, there's a lot better Christmas movies that we that we like.
Like A Christmas Story will always be in my, I have to watch it every year. Home Alone I watch every year. And then, what's the Arnold Schwarzenegger? Jingle All the Way.
Yeah.
Like those I have to see every year.
I have that one.
A Christmas Carol, I could take it or leave it. And usually if I see it, it's going to be like the Flintstones or the Jetsons or like some cartoon version of the, the book.
Yeah, I have a couple. The Muppets, the Monsters Scary Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
I have that one. There's ones I watch. I watched Elf in the beginning of December.
Okay.
Actually, it might have been November because.
And I always have to see the kids ones too. The Charlie Brown, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Frosty the Snowman.
Yeah.
The Heat Miser, Snow Miser. Like those are classics. Got to see them at least once.
Now, do you own them? Or
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I have that box set. It's got all of them in one set.
Okay.
I'll just go through and watch them all. Not Charlie Brown. Sorry. All the other ones.
Yeah.
Charlie Brown's separate. That's like the hardest one to find.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's a copyright issue or what, but like that's not free anywhere. You got to buy that one.
Yeah, I have that one. Yeah, I have that one on DVD. Yeah. It's weird because I talked about. Oh, also, if you go on YouTube, I've been doing some Christmas album videos, and I only put them on YouTube.
Okay.
But I did one on Elf soundtrack. But that reminded me because in Elf, when Buddy decides, or I don't know if he realizes he's a human or he's about to go to New York. I think it's that in the beginning of the movie, there's a scene that's reminiscent of Rudolph with the snowman.
Mm-hmm.
And it's Leon Redbone who has 3 songs in that movie. He has a very distinct voice. And because he does he does a couple songs, but he does the voice of it's Leon the Snowman.
Yes.
But it almost looks like the Burl Ives snowman guy.
I know we're not talking about Elf, but since it's music related, my favorite song from that film is actually when the female elf that he has a crush on but doesn't understand what that is, she's taking a shower at the mall, and they're doing a duet together, and it's a phenomenal duet.
Yeah.
Very enjoyable. And it's so funny because she's like, "What are you doing in here?" And but they actually, like, Will Ferrell, I assume, was singing.
Is it Baby It's Cold Outside?
I think so.
I have it here.
But that was a phenomenal rendition of that song, and that always stands out to me as one of my favorite movie duets.
Yeah, it's Baby. That's the thing on the Elf soundtrack. We can talk about it because it's Christmas.
Okay.
It's music.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not Will Ferrell, and her name's Zooey Deschanel.
Okay.
And she's a singer. She has a unique voice because she's not very. She's an okay singer, but she has like one tone. But she's put out albums. Anyway, it's her and Leon Redbone.
Oh, okay.
On Baby It's Cold Outside on the album. I think this is Sugar Plum color vinyl. Yeah. So, and one last thing, if the Muppets were to do what other like two musicals would the Muppets be good at doing? There hasn't been a Muppet movie, in 10 years. No.
So I think Willy Wonka would be a fun one to watch, Muppets version.
Oh, yeah.
And then, you're putting me on the spot. Do you have 2?
I have The Wizard of Oz.
Okay.
Which, they've redid that. Like, we got Wicked now, which isn't really The Wizard of Oz, but, they did The Wiz. But I think that's a good one for Muppets. And then here's a weird one.
I think they could make Sweeney Todd fun.
Yeah. Well, here's a weird one. Cats.
There you go.
I mean, you'd have
Muppets.
You'd have different Muppet cats, and we did see cats in this movie.
Yeah,
in the Muppet movie, but
a GarfieldWish.com lookalike.
We're gonna do a review someday of the movie Cats, because I think it was Matt and I who saw. I think it was Matt and I, not you and I, that saw parts of that movie Cats.
And
we were like mesmerized.
I've seen the CGI fails of that movie.
Well, I'm talking about the actual movie.
That just came out like within the last 2 or 3 years, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's like they didn't finish doing makeup, and there's all kinds of stuff out there.
I'm pretty sure we were in a hotel, and we just, once we put it on, we couldn't stop watching it. And Taylor Swift's in it.
One of those movies.
You know, Taylor Swift's in it.
Yeah.
James Court, what's his name? Yeah. Anyway, so we're going to wrap it up. Like I said, it's going to be a short one.
Wrap it up. Like Christmas gifts.
And so hope everybody has a nice holiday, New Year. We'll have a couple podcasts in January. I don't think we're doing an interview. And I think Matt and me are going to do the roulette. And Jeremy probably just do the regular one with me, but we're going to take a little break on things. And thanks for listening, everybody. You can, as always, email us at nogoodmusicpodcast@gmail.com. And hopefully Jeremy have his podcast back going on.
It's coming.
Carcon Lounge.
Yeah, it's coming. I actually was pitching No Good Music. I was at a show this past weekend, and Thomas Ian Nicholas, who plays Kevin in the American Pie movies, he's also in a bunch of other stuff. But specifically, I was talking to him about his music, because I think these guys enjoy when you appreciate what they're trying to promote now, as opposed to a role that they did 20 years ago.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And, you know, I was like, hey, I want to pick up some of your stuff and listen to it a little more in depth, but we'd love to talk to you on the show. And he seemed very interested. So hoping that could be a possibility down the road.
Yeah. So maybe February or. Yeah, I think after the holidays, I'll try contacting him.
Yeah, no rush, but it was fun to talk to him just about music as opposed to some of his movies. So
yeah,
he's been in a lot.
So thanks for listening, everybody. And remember, turn off the TV.
And turn up that music.
The holiday music.
Yes. Rum-pum-pum-pum.
And we're out of here. You've been listening to No Good Music. Today's show was produced by Rob J. Lilly and recorded live and unedited at the Did You Say 7 Studios in Washington, New Jersey. You can find No Good Music on Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and almost anywhere you listen to podcasts.
Our assets are frozen.